The big thing for this year is their Enjoyer line has the same graphic across it.
Yep.
Which is pretty funny. And they redesigned the party platter.
Yeah.
So I can't wait to ride that one.
It's good.
They added a new board to the women's line called the Cold Shoulder.
Yeah, it's basically women's broadcast from what I was told. And they also added a Jake Kuzik Pro model.
Yep.
It's like a high-end camber, carbon, lots of carbon in it. Twin.
Yeah, but it's funny. It's funny to see the same graphics, Simple Pleasures, Overboard, Cool Bean, and Party Platter all having the same graphic. Because if you put them all in a line, that's just one giant line of graphics right across there. But yeah, so the Party Platter got a full redesign.
Full overhaul.
They made it camber.
Yep.
And then...
But camber... Did it have the ollie bar before?
No, I don't think it did.
I don't think it did either. So camber, ollie bar... They made the nose narrower, lengthened the tail, and widened the tail. So it's got less taper, more tail, and camber.
Basically, they almost twinned it up.
Yeah, they just made it a little bit more versatile, I think.
I feel like it falls more like being similar to how the Warpig is now than what it was before, where it was a little more aggressive.
Right.
So, yeah, I love it that it's the directional combination camber baseline or whatever the fuck they're calling it. Like, it's cam rocker.
It's just cam rock, guys. Yeah. Like, come on.
And then Kuzik's got the medium, which that comes in a fuck ton of sizes too.
Yeah, I was pretty shocked by that because like it's like a $550 twin cambered board. Like that's not and a pro model. So why make it in that many sizes? Like that's not something that they're going to sell that many of.
I think it's funny that the 155 only has a 24.7 waist on it, though.
Yeah, that's narrow.
It's a narrower board.
Which they do make 54 wide and a 58 wide. So they make the 54 wide.
There's also a 60 wide, too.
Yeah, and the 54 wide has a 25.9 waist. So they have some meat to it if the 55 is too narrow for you.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's a narrow board.
And that camber, and it's cam rocker, but it's an aggressive camber with, like, a very minimal... It's almost like... The rocker's not even like there. It's camber. It's enough so it doesn't feel hooky. Right.
It's enough just to take the edge off of your camber. Like that's all that rocker really does. And, so don't treat it like real rocker, like you would like an actual cam rock that starts like right at your foot. Like having it just at the contact point right there like that, it's just enough to take that bite out.
So for those of you following along with us on the audio podcast, we'll have the link to the Zuzupo catalog on there. It's on page 12. The Kuzik's medium model is on page 15. Now, if we go a little further into the catalog on page 19, we have the ray gun and the ray gun pop. Now, I've always loved the ray gun, but they gave it a new shape for this year. And then they added a new model with the ray gun pop, which is like the big brother now to the ray gun, basically. It's like a snappier, more aggressive... I guess ray gun is what you would call it because it's a cambered ray gun.
Right, which the weird thing to me about that is that's what I thought the broadcast was just cambered ray gun with maybe a better base. So I'm a little confused why ray gun pop even exists.
I wonder if it's just the name and they're going to try to sell it or if it's in a different price point.
I would assume it's an extruded base versus broadcast is centered. So there is that base difference there. ICG 10, directional camber, back.
Well, if you look at the size runs,
aspect, so a little bit different core, and then base difference, but has that tip to tail carbon, has the same camber profile, and then 150, 53, 153. So it comes in a smaller size than the broadcast does.
Yeah.
So it's got more sizes. Yeah, I mean, it's a budget broadcast is basically what it really comes across to me as. But at that, like, I don't know. That seems like stuffing a board into a spot that doesn't exist, in my opinion. Like, if you're going to upgrade from ray gun, you're going to go to broadcast.
I just think it's funny that it's full camber.
Yeah.
Like, K2 hasn't done, like, they've just started bringing back camber.
Right.
And it's traditional camber through and through. In there, but
that seems like overstuffing the line to me.
Right. Well, K2 is notorious for that. There's a few other brands. Nitro.
Rome's got a bad history with that.
Oh my god. Overlap, like, why do you...
Solomon is probably the worst right now, in my opinion, but we'll get to that.
Well, you know more about that than I do.
Yeah.
So
the weapon graphic, I think, looks freaking great for next year.
It's like a classic weapon graphic.
Yeah, I'm hyped on the weapon graphic.
Yeah, if you're looking at the weapon, it is page 20. In there, the graphic on that, which we're going to try to talk a little bit about companies' graphics too as well, because there are some fucking hideous graphics.
There's some bad ones out there.
Yeah, Capita, we're looking at you.
There's a new high back on, or are we on to bindings now?
No, I wanted to talk about the cold shoulder for women.
Okay.
So that's page 23. It's a slightly tapered directional board, which is really cool, but it's got directional camber in it as well. So
this is something that I'm strongly considering for my girlfriend.
See, the way I look at it is like for all those women that complain that there's not a directional cambered board. Like I'm seeing more of this across the line.
It's a massive issue in the industry.
This is like the only thing that I see that being the fault is it stops at a 53 size. They should have offered.
They should have made it 55 or 56.
Yeah, something like that for the bigger women that want something a little more aggressive. I also love the fact that two of my good friends.
Yeah, I know. They're the only people in the catalog.
Kelsey Boyer and Melissa Rotano are in there. Like two chicks that I just absolutely adore, and I think they're just some of the best people in snowboarding. Are like the face of this year's catalog.
Yeah, it's great.
Fucking amazing. So let's see. There's a new split board, the Marauder.
Yeah,
as well. So. How do you feel about the fact that their bindings on the split boards have that slide track in it?
I think it's actually fantastic. So that's one of the things that I like Channel for is the fact that it makes setting up a split board so much easier. Like it's actually easy to do, and the thing with that is because it's that much easier to do, it makes the functionality of sliding your binding on and off way better because you can get it way more accurate.
And you can dial it in.
Yeah, it's just easier. Like I think more brands should be using Channel on their splits.
Yeah, so the Marauder is on page 28 for all of you following along audio land. And this is a directional cambered board with a blunt shape to it. So this is, they've had the split beam, they had the panorama, they've had other ones in the past. I think this is like what's replacing the panorama.
I think it's replacing Ultra Dream. Because Panorama was like their entry level one. And
was it?
It didn't have the channel, it had inserts.
Oh, that's right.
The one that had channel was the Ultra Split.
Okay, yeah. So it's basically replacing Ultra Split then. You're right.
But they added camber to it, which I think is smart.
Yeah.
And the thing that I like seeing about it from my standpoint is that it comes all the way down to a 47.
That's ridiculous. Like
all the way down to a 47, and it goes
to a 56 wide.
Yeah, 58 wide, 63 wide, 66 wide. Yeah. And I think the wide sizes are really important for split boards. There's a lot of people out there that really care about that width.
66 is almost a 27 at the waist. It's 26.9.
Yeah, that's huge. And the other thing that I just noticed, which is really interesting, I'm wondering if it's a typo. It has the exact same side cut for every size.
That might not be a typo, though.
That's just like you don't see that very often.
Might have just done that.
Yeah, and granted, it's a split. You shouldn't be riding hard pack that much on it.
No,
shouldn't be really using the side cut all that much. So, doesn't really matter. But just an interesting piece of notice.
Yeah, and then onto the bindings starting on page 33, which they added a new high back. Right?
Yeah. The lean high back stayed the same.
Did it? I thought that. No, yeah,
lean high back stayed the same. Formula high back stayed the same.
Then they trickled down the old formula stuff into the Indy and the Sonic.
Right.
I'll tell you what pisses me off is every binding in there is for the men's line is 3-degree canting.
Yeah.
Like that's
3 degrees is too much.
It's absurd. I can't ride any of those bindings without my knees blowing out.
My stance has changed drastically since the days when I hated canning, so it doesn't bother me nearly as much. But you don't need 3-degree canting. So
did I tell you I tried to ride a binding I did ride the Formula C's for 2019. So 3-degree canting, it made me knock-kneed. And it's
too much. Like if you're gonna force canting into your binding, like if you're going to do a fixed angle canting, I think you need to do 1.5, 2 at the most.
Yeah.
I think that just makes more sense.
You might know the answer. Is the lineup new? I don't think it's.
No, it's new. It was new this year.
It was new in 19.
It's not really new.
It's basically what replaced the Hurricane, wasn't it?
Now, yeah. Originally, it was just the Lean FS.
Okay.
So it was Lean FS, and then it was still Lean FS the year it went to this high back that it has now, that I think is useless. And then it replaced urethane. And that was part of the reason that I didn't like it, is because urethane was still in the line. Now that it's out of the line, I think it fits in the line.
Okay.
I think the lineup makes sense because urethane isn't there anymore.
Gotcha.
So for all of you that have seen my review of the lineup and the fact that I hated it and thought it was pointless, now that the urethane isn't in the line, it makes a ton of sense. I'm still not a fan of that binding because I think that high back is not even there. But one of the kids in my shop has it and actually loves it. He loves the binding. So it's Austin. Austin loves that binding.
Gotcha.
So there's people out there that are gonna like it, and now that urethane is in the line, it makes more sense. And I really like the tripod frame. So if you came from urethane, looking at whatever, and now you got to get something new, it's lineups.
Gotcha. Yeah. So women get a new binding called the Bedford.
Yep.
Which is like a mid-flex and all-mountain binding, which is basically a formula.
Yeah, that's what it really looks like.
Yeah, it's kind of, they're just going to...
And then Hugh's got a new high back that is stiffer, which I was happy to see because they didn't really make a supportive women's high back.
Okay.
At all. And they used the soft slime back on every women's binding, down to the even cassette, I think. So I was happy to see the Hugh get a real high back on it. And then the Meridian is basically the old Hugh. So they basically took the Hugh, gave it a new high back, a different strap than it used to have.
They're doing what they do with the guys' bindings. They just trickle everything down to the next one down. Yeah, so the Bedford's new. Once again, everything has 3 degrees of fucking canting.
Yeah, they need to knock with that.
Yeah.
They still make cinch.
Yeah.
Oh that's really all we need to mention.
I can't believe they still make fucking... If anyone wants to laugh, it's page 41.
Yep.
Then we get into the boot section, and there's a couple new boots. There's the Holgate, which basically replaces the T1DB.
Yep.
And it was funny because I was talking with the rep, and he's like, yeah, we'll get you on the Holgate. You know, that'll be a good, stiffer boot. And I was like, dude, I ride the fucking Thraxis. Like, I'm a triple boa guy now. I don't know if I can go back to double boa. They gave me a set of double boas this year, and they almost broke my foot.
Yeah.
Goddamn Renans.
Lewiston is a new one. It's on the lower end.
Basically, yeah, it's a single boa, page 47.
Basically, it kind of just strikes me as a, almost like a boa Darko. It's kind of what it looks like.
Yeah.
Maybe-ish. I don't know. I'd be curious.
It's missing the harsh mellow and different things like that for dampening. I guarantee you're going to feel everything in that boot. But that's kind of what they've got going on there. Then
Darko's got so you got a graphic story going between. So it's a Jake Kuzik story. You've got the board with the matching graphic on the formula, and then the matching colorways on the Darko, so you can get the full matching kit.
Yeah, the full blue-ish kit, which the Darko is on page 48. Then if you go into the women's boots, there's a new one called the Kinsley, which is basically the women's Holgate.
Yep.
So, you got dual boa, it's dual, but that side boa does the internal harness.
It's outside, inside.
It's basically a single boa shell with a boa internal in there. So.
And they still make clicker.
But the crazy thing is that Kinsley goes up to from women's 5 to an 11.
I haven't seen a women's 11 in a long time.
Well, it's funny
I don't see him
even
being made very often anymore.
Well, like the Sapura only goes to a 5 to 10, which they have the Sapura Heat, which has that heating system in there. So for all of you people with Raynaud syndrome that need something, there's that. But this is basically everything that K2's got going on that's new. They're really good with matching their graphic story across everything in terms of colorway from board, boot, and binding. So if you're one of those people that wants to match, go for it. I just wear black because it's like my soul.
Yeah.
And
I wear black because I'm colorblind, and every year I decide I want to get color, and then I end up all wearing black again. So
Because you don't know what colors you are wearing.
Exactly. So I wear black.
Speaking of you being colorblind, I almost bought you the glasses the other day.
Ooh.
But I was like, oh, fuck, there's like options? I thought it was all the same.
Nah, there's options.
And I was like, shit, I'm going to buy him the wrong one. He's like,
they gotta match it.
Yeah, so, anyways, let's move on
That's
to
K2.
the next one.